Hi, this is Tracey from GiftBasketAppeal, and today we're going to be upcycling this olive oil bottle. So let's get started. I thought it would be really fun to decorate a bottle like this, especially with it being so slender. I think I had done this one tutorial where I had decorated a bottle. I will list that below. But we're going to be doing a Mod Podge upcycle for this one. And I love this napkin with the birds on it. I think it's going to look really pretty. Let me show you what that looks like. And I'm also going to be using this yarn. So this yarn kind of blends in with that. So I'm going to cover somewhere around the top here with the yarn. So I think that's going to look really nice. So I'm pulling together stuff that I already have to create this. So I'm going to be ripping my napkin away when I do Mod Podge it. But look how pretty that is. Very artsy, just with that little hint of like a mustard, kind of a yellowish. It's got a little bit of green in there too. So I think this is going to look really nice. I'm also going to be using this paint. So this is what the base is going to look like. I'm going to paint the bottle this color first, and I think the artwork should still stand out pretty good. And all I did was I used this purple iris, and I added it to my Snow White paint. So to make that kind of a lavender, very soft color. So I think that's going to look really pretty. So the first thing we want to do is paint our bottle. And so this should go on pretty smooth. It's very slender. Should be pretty quick to do this one. I'm just going to go all the way down to the bottom here. And I'm using my favorite brush here to do this. I love this foam brush. And I think I'm going to do the rest in yarn. So I'll just go up to this point here. There's a little indentation right there. So I'll just follow that as my guide. And then the rest I can actually do with the yarn. I'm just smoothing it on. And when I do this first coat, I usually don't put a whole lot on my brush. And I just do even strokes, just one way. Okay, so look how pretty that is already. I think that's going to look nice with the napkin on top of it. And see, look how quick and easy that is to just kind of update your bottle, upcycle your bottle. And I think that one coat is going to be enough. Sometimes you don't know. For some reason, some bottles I have to add more than one coat than other bottles, and I use the same paint. So I'll kind of see how this works out. But right now that looks really good, and I think the napkin is going to work on top of that. So we're going to go ahead and let this dry, and then I'll come back and we'll start to do some Mod Podge. Okay, so this is all dry, and that one coat really helps. You know, I wouldn't need to put another coat. Sometimes you just don't know though. And I really like the way that soft color looks on here. So I think this is going to work out just fine. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is let's take a look at this napkin. And I'm going to use two of the birds. And then I'm going to probably do some of the flowers, kind of tear out some and decorate the other parts. So before I do that, let me just go ahead and cut this first. This came in a pack of, this is Dollar Tree napkins, and these came in a pack of 16. Here's the number right there, and it's a 2-ply napkin. So before I separate the backing off of there, I'm going to just cut it first. I like to cut my napkins first and then separate them. And basically, I'm going to just rip these and apply them. For some reason, I'm really liking that ripping technique. Okay, and I got my Mod Podge all ready with my sponge brush, and I reuse my sponge brush until they fall apart basically. So I just wash them out from when I use the paint, and then I just go move on to the Mod Podge. I just keep rinsing them until they fall apart. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to just take this side. Let's start with one side here. And I'm just going to just apply some of the Mod Podge on here where I want my artwork to go. So I don't really need, I just want to make sure it's covered a whole lot on there. I'm not using a whole bunch of Mod Podge, but I want to make sure the entire area that I'm going to be applying the napkin to is covered. Okay, so now I forgot one thing, and I always forget this. The plastic wrap or cling wrap helps me put the Mod Podge on. I don't know why I keep forgetting this, because this is actually an important part. So the cling wrap helps me to smooth out the napkin once it's on there, but you'll see in a moment for those of you that are watching this for the first time. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to rip out the bird, because that's the part I really want right now. So I'm just going to go right around the bird, kind of rip around there. I don't want any straight cut edges. I just want to kind of get that bird out of there. And like I said, I'm going to be doing 2 birds on this narrow bottle. Okay, so once I have my little artwork, I'm just kind of tearing those edges. I don't want these straight lines. It just looks more natural when you don't have the straight lines on there. Get this part here. I don't know if all of this is going to fit, but we'll see. So once I have that, and see, I can use these flowers too, so I'll be using those. So once you have that, you want to separate it, because if you don't separate this and pull off that backing, it's really going to wrinkle up on here. And I've learned that just because of my own mistakes. Yep. Okay, so that first part there, you just want to probably tear your napkin first before you apply the Mod Podge. Okay, so you see how that is, and with that purple it's going to work perfectly. And I don't want to use my hands. I'm going to use this, and what I'm doing is I'm just going from the middle and kind of just spreading it out. That way the wrinkles are, there's hardly any wrinkles when you do it with this. Take my time there. It just has a natural blending when you do that. And I really matched up that purple. Look how that purple actually matches pretty good with the bird, that light lavender. I'm really liking that. So I just started mixing paints this year to kind of get the color that I want to match the napkins. Especially works really well with this ripping technique. So applying that on. So I'm just taking section by section. The nice thing is you can do this any way you want once you get it on there. Okay, so that's what we got so far. Look at that. It just looks natural, like it's supposed to be on there. Okay, so I got to keep my fingers off of that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and alternate and do another bird on that side. So I got one on that side. This one's going to go kind of that same way. So you just have to pick the way you want to do it. There's so much you can do when you're doing Mod Podge, or also, this is also called decoupage. There's just so many different techniques that I've seen done with this, and depending on the napkin, you can do basically whatever you want. If you just see a certain type of artwork that you want to use, just use that artwork and go for it. You don't have to use the whole napkin. I love lavenders and anything in like the purple family. I like those colors. And I'm so glad I could finally finally use these napkins because I've had them for a minute in my stash. And look at that, that just comes right apart. Some napkins are harder to pull apart than others, but this one works just fine. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be exactly like the other side. So I thought it'd be nice to put here and then probably flowers on those alternating sides. And this is definitely not one of those crafts that you want to rush. Just kind of take your time. And then you need drying time on these too, so. Okay, so we got that one on that side. We're going to put this one on the other side here, alternating sides. Just kind of let it do its thing. Use my napkin here and smooth it out. And I'm really liking the way that purple is blending in there, or lavender I should say. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And so now I can go and get those purple flowers off of these and put these wherever I want. I'm just going to do that same ripping technique and get those flowers. I hope this is inspiring you all. And I like to rip it first before I rip it first before I separate it, because I don't want my napkin to get it gets really delicate once you peel it off like this. So I just like to do it that way. Yep, so I'm going to put this, let's see. I still need to rip it smaller. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so once I'm just trying to size it up with this, like right in this area here. Right in there. So nice thing is you can control where you put your napkin on here. I'm just going to layer it right here. Take my saran wrap or my cling wrap, kind of fanning out towards the edges. And don't worry if your first piece that you Mod Podge doesn't turn out right. You'll get the hang of it. Just keep trying. I know some of you have written to me saying that you had wrinkles. That's okay. I keep my pieces that have the wrinkles, or I give them as gifts. And believe me, it'll be appreciated by whoever you give it to. And look how that looks. So you see I'm just kind of lining the flowers up and putting it, so you're actually just creating your own art piece. So I'm going to get this one here. So you got that big blank space there, that needs something in there. So I'm just kind of going with the flow. And you notice I'm not like saying, oh, I have to get that whole flower in there. Nope, I'm not stressing about it. Whatever fits, it'll just fit and it'll be fine. Maybe right in there. Take a little bit off of the top there. Try not to get my arm in the way here so you can see. And look at that. So I'm just following the flow on here. And I'm going to do a couple more pieces here. This is really pretty right here. See what that looks like. So now I'm just fitting pieces in here. Right there. Oops. And put it right there. And it just looks like it belongs there. Let's see what else we can do here. Right here needs something. What do you think? I think it needs something in there. Needs a bigger piece. Let's see what else I have over here. Just getting another piece of napkin from this other part here. I'm just going to go right in there. And so imagine this vinegar or olive oil bottle would have been something that you would normally throw away, and now you can have a nice little decorative piece that can sit somewhere in a corner. You can add flowers to it, and now it's a vase. Yep, that's going to be perfect. Okay. I'm going to put that right there. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. And look how cute that is. Look how absolutely beautiful. Just alternating those birds. So I'm going to let this dry, but I want to put my other layer of Mod Podge on here. Just along the top, very gently. And you see what that looks like, right? It's very cloudy. Don't worry, for you first timers that are here, it's okay that it looks cloudy like that. It's going to dry so beautifully. You just have to be gentle with this. And since I ripped it, I'm just kind of going towards the outer layers here, so it won't kind of come up off of the bottle. But just take your time and everything will turn out okay. And you could guarantee that whatever you create, there's not another one like it. Okay, so quick and simple. And I'm just going to wait for this to dry, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is now dry enough for me to handle. And you see that little shine it has on there? Look how pretty that looks with the purple blending in. Different shades of purple. Okay, so I'm going to take my yarn now, and I'm going to wrap it around the top area. And I like doing that, like just kind of having the bottom have the napkin, and then around the top just wrap it with something. And so let's see if I can find the end of this yarn here, or the beginning I should say. Here it is. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to still use my Mod Podge, whatever Mod Podge I have here. I'm just going to just add some right around here and start winding my yarn. And Mod Podge works really good with adhering yarn to a bottle. I've used this before. And so my bottle is not like completely dry, but it's dry enough for me to handle. So it's been about, I just let it sit for about an hour. But I like, to get it really dry, I like to leave it for about 48-hour period. And then it's, so because it's still a little bit sticky, but I can handle it right now without the napkin coming off or sticking to my hands. Okay, so right around this rim here, just going to start right there and just go around with my yarn here. I just want it right up to that edge, and I don't want any of that green to show through. And I'm just going to work this in sections here, just winding it around, just doing it in a continuous motion. And that's why I like this to be dry before handling it, because it makes it easier for me to do this. And yeah, if you find like a really pretty yarn, like I've had this in my stash for a while now, so I use it to decorate several bottles. And my dog is in here restless and just kind of searching around. And it's funny because he hears me talking about him right now. So he stopped and started looking at me. I just have a feeling he knows more than just a few words. Okay, so right now, just wrapping this around here. And just letting that kind of fall on top, just adhere right to the top of that. And the nice thing about the Mod Podge is it will dry clear. So what I'm doing is I'm just moving it down so it stays right on top of there and it looks nice and condensed. And sometimes when I'm doing this, I start at the top and then I just kind of wind it down, but I don't know, for some reason I just feel like starting at this point here and then working up to the top. Just want to make sure that that's sticking on there. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this up right up to the top, but you get the gist of it. Just continuously, just kind of patting it down and letting it just lay right on there. And the yarn is light enough to kind of just adhere right to the Mod Podge. And just take your time and enjoy the process. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the yarn combination with this, with flowers. Look how pretty that is. So that's what it looks like so far. And so I just ended right at the rim and just kind of pressed my yarn right into the top there so that you can't really see it. And so I've got these little pearls, and I thought the pearls would go good with those flowers. You see it? I think that'll be pretty to break some of that up. Let's see. And these are already sticky, but I think I'm going to add something to it. I think that'll look nice right around the rim here. Let me just gently put that on there. I'm not even going to stick it on yet. Look how cute that looks. So just with that little bit around the edge there, or you can move it up to the top. It's just up to you. I'm going to put it right around that rim. And I'm going to use a little bit of, let's see, maybe I'll use this art glitter glue. Let's see if that will work. I think it'll work fine. Hadn't used this one for a while either. Okay, let's see. Yep, keep my pen in there so it doesn't get clogged. Let's see. So I just want to go right around the base here with it, where it starts to curve up. And I'm just going to go right around here with it. And you can do all kinds of stuff. You can add all kinds of stuff to your bottles. Okay, let me do another one here. So all those little gems that you have, you can get them out and start decorating your things. See how much I need of this. The thing I like about these is that you can take them off individually or use them like just a long strand of gems. Okay. And I'm just cutting some of this off here, and then I'll let you take a look at it. Yep, and that's going to work. I just need to give it a little bit of time to dry. But look at that. So now you've made a bottle, and I'll post a picture at the end so you can get a really good view of it. Look how pretty that is. Now if you wanted to, you can add a flower on the top there. And if I want, I could have it without the green stuff, or I could just leave the green stuff on there and glue it right to the top. And I actually love the way that looks. That green makes a nice contrast, the green and the flower. I think that looks really pretty. I'm just going to hot glue that right onto the top. stick that right there. And I've done this before. It just grabs right on. And I think that makes a really good contrast on there. And I'm still waiting for this to dry. But I will post pictures at the end of this. Let me let you just kind of scan back up a little bit more. You can see what that looks like. Look how pretty that is. So you got a combination of napkin, yarn, pearls, and a flower. Really cute. So I hope this really inspired you. I had so much fun making this and sharing it with you. And this is just one idea. You just go ahead and make it your own. If this inspired you, let me know in the comments below. And this is that Dollar Tree napkin. So don't forget to subscribe. If you see that little bell right next to the subscribe button, that is the notification for whenever I release a video or whenever I go live. So you want to click on that so that you can be notified whenever I upload. And I will see you real soon. Bye.